Another cool thing about this movie is that the house that they're actually staying in here, it was scheduled to be demolished. So they could pretty much do anything they wanted to the house at any time. And I don't think they took enough advantage of this, but that's how they basically were able to tear up floorboards, tear up tables, because the house is actually going to get destroyed because it failed building code. So even though it really looks like a nice house, you got to understand that the black and white environment, it kind of hides some of the defects. The infamous jump scare. This is something that's used a lot in horror films. It's actually one of the main ingredients of a horror film, to be perfectly honest. Almost everything that sets you up is the music. The music slows down. You have a silent scene. You get on the edge. You get on your edge of your seat, and then all of a sudden it's bang. And that's the whole premise of a lot of scary movies, and that's how you kind of set a good scary movie apart from a bad one. A bad scary movie will rely solely on the fact of the jump scare, whereas a good one will never have to use the jump scare. It can kind of hint at it. It can kind of like put yourself in that situation, but it never really relies on it heavily. I've never seen one not use the jump scare, because you kind of be foolish not to, because that's what a lot of people go to a horror movie for, to have that exhilaration, that fear. But very few movies pull it off effectively. That scene right there we just watched, you gotta wonder what was going through the actors' heads. Like, alright, we're gonna put you in front of the camera, and we just want you to walk around looking like you're doing the robot. I'm trying to make light of it, but this actual scene setting up here was actually to set in the claustrophobia. Like, ooh, look at that. One of the cool things about black and white is that right there looks a lot creepier than it actually is. To be perfectly honest, all the blood you see in the film is actually chocolate syrup, like the kind you put on your ice cream. And because it's all going to appear black, they could use it as a substitute for blood. And right here we get introduced to the Ben character itself. About 3 years later, another movie came out called Alien, which, if anybody's ever watched my channel for any length of time, you know Alien is one of those movies I consider to be a masterpiece. And it uses the claustrophobia a lot better than Night of the Living Dead, but Ridley Scott even said a lot of the ideas or basis around the Alien film or the script, which wasn't written by him, but he did the movie, but the atmosphere setting it up was in lieu of Night of the Living Dead.
We can try to get out of here if we can get some gas. Is there a key? I suppose you've tried this. Do you live here? Jesus. We've got to get out of here. We have to get to where there's some other people. Maybe we better take some food. I'll see if I can find some food.
Night of the Living Dead was actually made on a budget of $114,000 estimated. It ended up making around $30 million. In my book, that's a really good investment. I can't really stand characters that play like Barbara does here. I don't know where this caught on at, because she pretty much has like a mental breakdown from the beginning of the film. And another thing that's kind of neat, since we just got done talking about the budget's really inflated. The original two investors of the film invested $300 apiece, and they both got to be in the film themselves. One of them actually is Mr. Harry, which you'll see a little bit later on, and another one is the zombie from that actually busted the window out on the car at the very beginning of the movie.
There are two of them out there. Have you seen any more around here? I can take care of those two. I know you're afraid, but we have to...
I don't know! What's happening?
As I said before, this movie is a social commentary, and Ben being black was something that just happened because he was the best actor to audition for the part. The guy that actually was supposed to be Ben was actually one of the zombies that he killed just a while ago. He was supposed to be a rude-mouthed truck driver that pretty much knew no rules, but he was very resourceful. But he ended up being Dwayne Jones here. And the social commentary aspect that people actually look at it is you have a black guy and a white girl held up in a house surrounded by whites, and then whites come out and end up shooting the black guy in the head.
Don't look at it.
Every time I watch this movie, it makes me wonder, why didn't Ben take his time and slowly let a couple in the house and just beat them down? I mean, if he would have continually killed the zombies, they wouldn't have been attracted to the house in itself. And especially when you actually find out there's more people in the basement of the house, it would have been a really cool idea that way. But one of the things that I really love about this movie is the claustrophobic elements, and it also is something I loved about the Resident Evil 2 game or Resident Evil 1, because it had the same elements of claustrophobia in it. And when I mean that, they actually get the TV working, you get to see glimpses of the outside world, but you don't know what it looks like. And like Resident Evil 2 and Resident Evil 1, you get to see glimpses of the outside of the mansion, but you never really get to see what it looks like. Same thing with Raccoon City in Resident Evil 2. You actually are outside, but it's so linear, you want to see more of it, which got you to buy the further games.
Why don't you see if you can find some wood, some board, something about the fireplace, something we can nail this place up.
Let's pour all the nails out onto the table. That'll make them very easy to store and very easy to take from door to door and window to window.
Look.
Barbara, in my book, was very lucky that she got one of the most calmest
But we have to try to board
black
up.
men on television history.
Now, I'm going to board up the windows and the doors. You understand? We'll be all right here. We'll be all right here until someone comes to rescue us. But we'll have to work together. You'll have to help me. Now, I want you to go in and get some wood so I can board the place up. Do you understand? Okay? Okay?